Chris.
Hi Trevor.
Thank you so much for coming back on the channel and bringing this lovely Outlaw Replica. For anyone who doesn't know, for anyone who doesn't know, we've already recorded this video. I'll put a link in the description to that. The video's done really well and it's raised a lot of questions, and one of them was, why haven't we gone out for a drive in it? Sure. So today, Chris has brought the car back and we're going to take it out for a spin on a couple of nice country lanes around here and yeah, see what it's like on the road.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, cool, let's do it.
Okay.
Cheers. All right, we're in. All right,
Shove that on.
How do I strap myself?
There's another strap down the side. Hopefully it's long enough.
I feel like I'm in a pram.
Hang on. Right. Tight enough.
I'm in a buggy.
Trust me, it's not going to save your life if we hit anything, but at least you feel good about it.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, this feels very engaging, doesn't it?
Very
Engaging.
It is very engaging. You
Yeah.
have no driver aids. You feel every bump down the road. Yeah. It's not like a modern car at all.
No, no. And it's really low. I mean, it's really small as well. It's like,
Very small, very low,
Yeah.
very lightweight.
that's the thing, like, on camera, you don't really realise how small this car is.
You only really notice it when you put it next to a larger modern
Yeah.
car and it looks like a toy car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely got this like go-kart feel.
It very much is. It is very grippy. It's a bit wet today, which
Yeah.
is a shame. But you've got a very low centre of gravity,
Yeah.
and it really does grip on the bends. And it's got a lot of torque to it.
So do you need to like be a bit careful when you're sort of coming out of roundabouts? Because you could, or do you like drift it? A little bit of Tokyo drift, huh?
No, definitely not for me. But
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
have to be careful. It is rear engine.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's easy to misbalance it. So you do have to drive it carefully, but you know, you can drive it really hard, and it's a lot of fun.
So in the last video, you mentioned that you do hill climbs, or you're going to do hill climbs?
I'm planning on doing it. I did a fun one at Sheer Hill Climb in the summer, which was great fun, and yeah, these sort of cars are perfect for that.
Yeah. Because this is a Beetle chassis.
Yeah,
Is it registered as a Beetle?
it is.
Right. Okay. So it's like tax exempt.
Historically tax exempt, yeah. Technically I don't even need an MOT, but I do it.
Yeah. I'm just getting kind of go-kart vibes in this car, you know. It feels planted as well.
It is very planted. It doesn't like to go particularly slow, so I'm at 3,000 revs now, and that's the prime kind of position for driving. You put your foot down and you really feel it.
What's the clutch like? Is it quite heavy? I know these old cars normally have quite heavy clutches.
Very heavy, and a very heavy clutch and very, very light accelerator. So it took a lot of getting used to it.
Can you even see out of those wing mirrors?
I can't see out of that one. This one does give me a reasonable view, but yeah, it's not great. You have to remember that you're not in a modern car and to make sure you look all around you before you do anything.
You can't wind your window down and give it a quick wipe, can you? Not this one. Yeah, loving the gauges as well, man. There you go.
is a John Walklett Street Box, 4-speed. I've got to say, without checking, I don't know what the ratios are.
Right.
But it's a street box, so it's very suited to the car. It's mated with original 356 gear parts all underneath the tunnel, and it drives superbly well. We did find when we first put it in that there was a lot of waggle, and literally we could touch knees with the gear stick. So I got a short shifter, so we've replaced this bit here, which has improved it, and it drives really well now. There's always a lot of traffic at this time on a Sunday.
Saturday.
It does feel like Christmas has thrown me off.
It does feel like a Sunday, doesn't it? I think this car would be so amazing on like a mountain pass, like on a road trip to the south of France. Like, I think I said that in the last video.
Yeah.
And, this would be so much fun.
It's suited to the quieter, fast, curvy roads rather than, around the M25. Unfortunately, I live out in the countryside, so I have a lot of these roads around here.
Right.
But I have driven it, car shows all over the country, so I'm quite used to the motorway network on it.
So, I know you said you built this with a friend.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like maintenance and servicing, do you handle that yourself, or?
Not really, no. I have a company, Race Limited, who are up near Gatwick, who deal with classic and race prepped cars, and they're literally 15 minutes from me, and the guys there look after the car for me, and I mean they've got superb knowledge. They used to do all the James Bond cars for the movies, so they really know what they're talking about, and in a real pinch I'm straight on the phone to my friend Richard, who's the most knowledgeable guy I know.
So you've carved out a space for the stereo?
Yes, I've got an original 1950s Blau pump to go in. I just haven't got around to it really, and I've got to find somewhere to put the speakers as well.
So you're not going to go with a nice modern sat-nav, are you? Apple CarPlay, Android Auto?
Absolutely not. If I've got to go on a long trip, I'll stick a phone holder and stick it on that.
If you was on a long trip, is your wife holding a proper old school map?
My wife won't even come in the car, so she point blank refuses to come in it.
Yeah, I love that go-kart feel. I used to own a Mark 1 Golf.
Right.
And like I lowered it and put some wheels on it and stripped it out, and that car, like I've missed that feeling of just pure analog driving, like no power steering, no ABS.
That's it.
Like your brakes aren't great, so you really have to be mindful of how you stop.
You really do have to think what you're doing. It really isn't a modern car. And although I've got big Wilwood brakes on it, you stomp too hard and you'll just go into a slide. So you do have to be careful when driving it.
Do they take time to warm up? Or?
A little bit, same with the engine. It really doesn't like going off from cold. So you just have to kind of think about those things. I think out of all the cars I've ever driven, this one has the best engine sound. You really can't beat it.
Yeah, it's really like in the back of your head.
There's no getting away from it. Long trips, I put my noise cancelling AirPods in.
Just about to say, you need some earphones.
It can get a bit fatiguing after a couple of hours.
You need like comfort mode and sports mode.
Yeah, you really do.
On the exhaust. This is like the perfect B-road blaster, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah, for low-end driving, you can't beat it.
Yeah, it's nice being that. It's so different. Like this, I haven't been in anything like this before.
It's very instant power.
Yeah.
Completely different to the modern Porsches.
Oh, totally. You'll definitely need some heating in there for the winter drives.
Yeah, it's cold.
it's a really nice puffer jacket.
You do get used to it, but my hands and feet do get cold. So I think for next year I need to get some heating put in. It always worries me though. They're kind of little mini petrol bombs just waiting to explode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have thought that you would tuck this away for the winter and just get it out in like the spring and the summertime, because most Porsche purists tuck their cars away, put them on trickle charge, you know, stick them in a heated, air-conditioned garage,
Yep.
and you're out here in the middle of winter blasting it around.
That's what it's about, you know. If you're a car person, you don't really care whether it's hot or cold. And I think when the first car was first put on the road, if you ask my friends, you know, I was very nervous and timid driving it because it was so different. They would have said that I wasn't going to keep it or not drive it very much. And even Richard was kind of a bit, I don't think you're going to be driving it. And I probably, out of all my friends on our WhatsApp group, I've probably racked up the most miles this year. I just love driving it. You really just can't beat it. And if you had an original, then you probably would want to tuck it up, you know, and look after your investment. But it is a replica, and whilst I've spent a lot on it, what's the point in not driving it?
That's true. Chris, that was so sick. I loved it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh my days, thank you so much.
It's all right.
Oh,
Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. This is like, it's such a cool car.
Thank you so much.
This is like such a nice project as well. It must have been really nice, like slowly watching it sort of come to fruition, and you know, obtaining the parts and getting the body in and slowly doing the work and kind of watching it grow like a little baby, or you know, like I would be so buzzing just seeing it. Like even if it was just a body, I'd be like, yeah, this is looking great. You know, I'd be so happy.
It's one of the great things about building it in that respect. You know, you're finding the parts and it's being put together until you end up with the completed item. It can get a bit frustrating when you hit kind of barriers, but it's worth it in the end. You know, if you stick with it. So,
awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please leave a comment below and just let us know what you think. Anyway, that's it for us. We're out of here. Chris, thank you once again.
Thanks, Trevor.
I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share this content. Mr. Joseph out.
Cool.